What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Match preview time. Back into the Premier League. 11 huge games coming up, man. 11 absolutely huge games coming. Cannot wait to get it started. Tough task on the return from the international break away at League in Arsenal. But hey, we've got to play them twice. We've got to play everyone twice. So let's just get into it, yeah? As you come in, of course, you know the drill, people. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and drop your comments below. We'll do score predictions a bit later on in the stream. Or if you're watching a replay, put it in now. Whatever you like. Just got to give thanks. Some real good donations on the last video with the super thanks. Thank you so much for that kind of support. It means a lot. John Abbott, Karen Curtin, Ashley Curry, Keith Hunt. Wonderful. Thank you for the donations. And the thanks option is on the same line as a like and dislike button. So if you want to donate to the channel that way, please do so. And you can leave your comment that way too. Danny in early, smash a like for the main man KG. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Do that. Theo saying now then KG. Well, now then what? No. Listen, it's gonna be big. You know what's funny? In these kind of games. I mean, I had a comment that is just on the last video. It came through about an hour ago saying, write this one off and focus on the next two, which are obviously huge games against Forest and Palace. I don't get that kind of mentality. I know there's games that we're not going to win. I know there's games that we're likely to be the least favorite, especially against a well-oiled machine like Arsenal are this season. But if you went into games like that, if the players went into games like that and they got pulverized, we'd be attacking them. So as fans, I don't know how you can just write off games. If we got, say, a valuable point out of this one, just think about how different that looks to the players' confidence, to the teams around us confidence, looking at us going, wow, they got a point against Arsenal. There's just so many variables why I just can't write games off. That's why I don't believe in the free hit stuff. That's just me, though. That's just me as a fan. And on the Arsenal side, in terms of their news, they could be possibly without Saliba, so which is pretty big. Yeah, I mean, Deshaun, like it's loser mentality. It is a loser mentality. It's definitely a mentality where you look at it and go, just forget this one and let's just focus on the next two. I just can't look at things like that. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go in and win this game. That's a completely different conversation. But to just write a game off, that's a whole different thing for me. Let's have a look. Theo saying there are no write-offs anymore. Of course, Arsenal are arguably the best team in the league, and I won't be disheartened if we lose. I'm going into this with a puncher's chance. We've always got a chance. And listening to Javi Gracia today, he knows what it is, and I think it's pretty obvious how we're going to approach the game from Javi Gracia's comments today. He said Arsenal very good in possession, they're very good on the transition, so it's going to be up to us to counter attack, and that was pretty obvious that was going to be our game plan. But Javi pretty much confirmed it today, and when with news like Saliba possibly being out, it kind of gives you a little bit of chink in their armor because it could be their new guy, the Polish guy. I think it's Kivior, I think it's called, but it more likely will be Rob Holding. Now, if Rob Holding's in there, and listen, for anyone that hasn't seen Rob Holding, he's basically a championship defender or somebody that Everton would add to their English centre-back core. You know what I mean? He's not that good, and he's always good for a yellow card. So it's about biding your time. It's about trying to get at the weak areas. And obviously, if Rob Holding is playing, that is a weak area. Thomas Partey was a doubt, but I think he was training today, so he's going to be playing. So there's going to probably be no dice with that one. He's been very good. Listen, they're not top of the league for no reason. Let's just call a spade spade. They're not top of the league for no reason. And they watching them this year, apart from our game and possibly Everton away, they have been excellent in pretty much every other game. So it's going to take a lot for us to get through it, especially with our confirmed injuries. Obviously, we knew Tyler Adams was going to be out. Javi Gracia says it's more day-to-day looking at it. I'd be very, very shocked if we do see him play again with it being a hamstring surgery. But also we get confirmed that Gnonto and Wöber, I'm going to try and remember that, is going to be out for this game, which is a blow. But also in the fact that, Javi Gracia doesn't like to give you any team news or injury news. He didn't like shut it down and say that they're going to be back for the Forest and Palace game. So we've got to keep an eye on that one. We've got to see how that goes over the weekend, see what news we get for that. Because for me, I'm okay that they're going to be out for this game because it was very doubtful they were going to play. I know Wöber is usually good. Sorry, Wöber is usually good at like getting some duct tape on him and going again. But if they're going to miss a game, it's going to be this one. But please come back for that double homestand. We need them both for that one, 100%. Karen is saying, I have every faith and confidence in Javi and our players. And and with that, Karen, as well, because Javi Gracia, because he is a tactician, more so than what we've had previously, where it's been plan A and plan A only. He does look at things in different ways, and he's looking at this Arsenal game. And we saw it already when we approached Brighton at home. We knew we couldn't. He knew we couldn't open up against Brighton, otherwise they would have tore us up. And he also knew against Wolves we could approach it a bit differently and get the win there. So he's got his ideas. We don't know if it's going to work, but listen, he's got the positive points total overall for us. So let's give him a bit of trust in this one and see what we get up to on the weekend. Now, I mean, we're talking about who's going to step up. Deshaun here. Hopefully, Cine gets a start and takes his chance. He was also talking about Sinistera today about having to manage him a bit as well. Don't like how that's sounding. It's veering into that Patrick Bamford kind of territory for me, where we're having to look after these people and wrap them up in cotton wool. Don't like the sound of that. But of course, he is just coming back from another injury, so that could be the case. It is about seeing who steps up. So Gnonto's not there. Will it now be Harrison and Somerville on the wings? More than likely, because he didn't mention Somerville today and that he's been playing a lot of games and he's got no problem trusting Somerville. So it's going to be up to these guys to step up in their absence. It has to be. He also said, for what it's worth, if you like it, Liam Cooper is ready to go. Liam Cooper played for Scotland in the week. But I mean, that kind of drop off for me is humongous. Now, I mentioned Saliba being out and Holding being in the place. At our level, for where we are in terms of our centre backs, Wöber to Cooper for me is night and day. So I don't know if it's going to be Liam Cooper in there or Pascal Struijk who's going to take that place. We're just going to have to wait and see. Darren here saying real bad luck. It sounds like they might be out for more than 1 week. Yeah, this international break has been a nightmare for us. If we've been, put out all our cards on the table, it's been a nightmare. Nothing about this international break has been good. We've literally lost 3 like key players. These are 3 starters that give you 3 different things as to why they are quality players. Adams, one of the best hustlers of the ball, gets the tackles in, leads by example, got the winning mentality, wants to win everything. Max Wöber brought the leadership at the back, brought a sense of calm as well for his partners in Junior Firpo, Robin Koch, just massive at the back. He's just been brilliant for us overall since he's come in. And then of course Gnonto, you've seen the game plan, people, you've seen it. It's the ball's over to Gnonto. Gnonto, what are you going to do for us? What can you do for us here, Gnonto? That's been the plan. You've seen it. So to take out 3 of that kind of player is absolutely devastating. But hopefully, Wöber and Gnonto won't be out too long. Just cross your fingers, everybody. Bunky's here saying, don't risk any players against Arsenal that are not quite ready. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And Tom, I was going to mention him. McKennie had a good US camp, and I believe he will pick up the slack in the double pivot. And Tom's got a point here in terms of McKennie. I mentioned it on the last video, but he was really good in the international break. And as I said in that one, don't go, dissing the opposition they played, because England play Andorra and San Marino nearly every 2 years as well. So let's calm down with that. But what I will say with McKennie is, there's been various different pundits from the US and all over the place saying he hasn't been fully unleashed at Leeds. And I do agree with that. I just don't think Arsenal's going to be the game that we see that fully unleashed McKennie. I think it's going to be more of a case of a double pivot and then seeing if we can counter with McKennie, possibly Aronson, maybe. But it's going to be a case of McKennie having to do some of that defensive work, because you can't leave Odegaard free. Just can't. He creates out of nothing. He's been really good this year for Arsenal. He's going to have to do the work in there. I think maybe for the Forest and Palace games, we can probably release him a bit more. But in the Arsenal one, he's going to have to be a bit disciplined in this one, I'm afraid. It's not the best thing, because I've seen McKennie play box to box and I've seen him score goals. Saw the wizard thing on international break. We need to see it for Leeds, and I think we will. Maybe in the games after Arsenal. Hey, maybe even the Arsenal game. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, McKennie for me, I think he's going to step up, and I think he will, like Tom says, pick up the slack. I definitely believe that. Ted is saying, what about McKennie instead of Aronson in an attacking position? Much stronger shooter. Well, Ted, on that as well, McKennie, we've seen it for Leeds already a couple times this season since he signed, is that he's been a bit indecisive. Like he doesn't shoot when he's supposed to shoot. And when he's passed it, sometimes that pass has been behind the player. So hopefully he's working on that, the final third thing, which is, of course, the most important thing. But yeah, I'm with you. I think McKennie in that kind of position is good. But I just think when we talk about this game against Arsenal, I think he's going to be a bit more restricted in his movement. Jake is saying, I hope he plays Cock and Pascal at centre back and not Cooper. Yeah, I mean, I'm only putting this up because I've seen a few comments saying the same thing. That's what I would do too, Jake. I would do the exact same thing. But it kind of sounds like maybe seniority is coming in and it may be Liam Cooper to start against Arsenal. And when you think about that, and also at their wing position, they're going to have Saka, who Saka's undeniable. I'm afraid he's that good. He's that good, and I think it's going to be one of those where Saka probably does have a lot of joy against Junior Firpo. Not saying that Junior Firpo is going to regress back into old Junior, but Saka's on a different level. You have to accept that sometimes, and Saka's been brilliant all season long. He's adding goals, he's adding the assists, he's been excellent. And then you go over to the other side with Luke Ayling, he's going to have to contend with Martinelli. Tough, tough. I can see a lot of doubling up having to be done with that because if we leave, listen, Luke Ayling is not a good one-on-one defender, and you can say whatever his strengths are. That's cool. One-on-one defending is not it for Luke Ayling. So I think that whoever's on that side, whether it is Somerville, is going to have to come back and help him out because Martinelli versus Ayling, that's a long day. I'm afraid it's a long day, and even if it's not Martinelli, people, it will be Trossard, who's been excellent for them since he signed for them. They're so strong. This is what I mean. Gracia is going to have to come up with the ultimate plan to get something out of this game. Going to have to get something out of this game. Let's have a look. Alex is saying, do you think you might play Christensen at centre back again? If we go to a 5, Alex, I think we're not scared to go to a 5. You see that when in the games we've adjusted to a 5, he's not scared to do it. So it wouldn't surprise me, Christensen. He seems to be chomping at the bit to play. And maybe even Christensen comes in, in line of marking out Martinelli. Maybe Christensen's come in because he's a little bit more defensive minded than Luke Ayling, who sometimes gets caught up the pitch. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. He does not give anything away. It's a great I'm still completely with it, by the way. I love that he doesn't give much away. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Oh, get here. Just hope we keep the goal difference down. Tremendous. D-Wex is saying, if you're trying to play a possession game against Arsenal, you were dead. Yeah, we're not doing that, D-Wex. He's already said that. He doesn't give a lot away, but he already said that. He said that we're going to be playing counter-attacking football, and that is the best way. And if you just think if we do get some joy and Rob Holding or someone like that is playing, maybe even what's his name again? Oh man, Tomiyasu, because even he has dodgy games here and there. If we can get down at those kind of players, and they'll be on the same side, but by the way, same side of defense, there are ways of getting through them, but we're just going to have to be patient and hopefully we keep it out at the other end. And that obviously is a task made harder without Wöber there, in all fairness. Jack Simpson here going with a good old Roy Hodgson here, go with a 5-4-1 and never leave our half. Yeah, man, I know. It's a daunting game. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a daunting game, and the thing is, since we've been promoted, I haven't really feared the Arsenal games because they weren't that good. You saw what Arsenal were doing. They were in transition, probably building up to what they've turned into this season. But they're a well-oiled machine, and we've got to be very, very wary of that. And I know Javi Gracia will be aware of that too. Martin just simply putting time to park the bus, Jose Mourinho style, man. Let's go, baby. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that we have to look out for. And I already said in previous one as well with Jack Harrison, because he's been the first one wasn't so good. The game against Wolves was good. I'm not expecting much out of Jack on this one, but I need you to turn up for the next two. You know what I mean? I'm not writing it off, but if you have a quiet game against Arsenal, it's understandable because you're hardly going to get a touch of the ball unless we are countering and you can get in a cross quickly or a shot quickly, whatever it may be. So it's about just managing expectations on the game, but hopefully, I mean, just hopefully we can come out with it. Diggler here is saying score draw 2-2 or 3-3. I mean, we're not doing score predictions just yet. We're going into it in a bit. But boy, oh boy. I mean, if that happens, I'll be watching those highlights all day long. Oh, is Tommy Tomiyasu out for the season? So it will be Ben White there then. Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Austin. Darren Wrong saying Jack will be busy defending, covering our fullbacks, and he will be. And you know what? In all credit to Jack Harrison, that is something he's really good at doing, and that is helping out his fullback. And Furpo, as good as the Renaissance has been over the last month, he's going to need Jack Harrison's help on that side against Saka. He's just going to need it. If you haven't been watching Saka this season, hopefully he doesn't turn up this Saturday. But if he does, it will be no surprise to me. And yeah, Gavin, Bournemouth got 2 goals there. No reason why we can't either. Yeah, I mean it doesn't always equal what someone does. That means we should do it. But you're right. They're not. They're not like bulletproof as such. There are ways to get at them. And Bournemouth started out quickly against them. They started out them against them quick on off the traps, out of the traps. We just got to see what we can do. We see that set pieces. We seem to be working on those. Can we get something from those? But I also rate Gabriel very, very highly this year. And it's been interesting watching some Arsenal debates. And how nice must it be to debate who's your better centre back out of Gabriel Saliba? Hopefully, we'll be there one day, people, but we're not just there just yet. It's verbal and bust at the moment. But, the fact that Gabriel and Saliba are both causing division in the Arsenal fan, not heavy division, but who's better? That's a nice problem to have. And Gabriel has been, apart from the early start of the season, he's been really good for them too. And obviously, left hand side, Zinchenko or Kieran Tierney, but it probably will be Zinchenko. Zinchenko's been a real leader for them in their title charge as well. So they're strong. They're not top of the reason for no. They're not top of the league for no reason, are they? And yeah, I mean, and that's it, Brian. Any team can be on any given day. Like I said on the previous video, if everything was so predictable, then we could go to a betting shop tomorrow and put all the results on. But you can't, can you? So yeah, it's a weird one. And also as well with this one, how much at least a point would be so helpful to us. The fixtures around us this weekend, people, I've just noted them down. Palace versus Leicester, huge. I mean, massive game. Roy Hodgson's return, yeah, Roy's return. Forest versus Wolves, another huge game around us. Ideally, these games will all be draws, if they would please. And then Sunday, we got West Ham versus Southampton. I mean, those games around us are absolutely huge. Obviously, we look after ourselves next week in those 2 homestands against Forest and Palace, and we don't need to even think about those kind of games. But massive weekend, absolutely massive weekend. Yeah, CB return away. Yeah, absolutely. And Karen here, I would soon have Rodrigo up front than Bamford, and that's the same for me. I know that maybe in this kind of game, you probably want Bamford's like running and pressing that he does from the front. But I just feel with the way that chances may be a bit sparse, that if we do get on the counter, I would much prefer Rodrigo to be in the box than Bamford, 100%. Because you don't know what Bamford's going to do, whether he's going to slip over or just air kick it. At least with Rodrigo, you give yourself a chance of getting a goal. And I think other players can make up for that running about that Bamford does, man. This running about thing, don't let me get into it. But I think other players can pick up that slack. I mean, Brendan Aronson is a perfect example. He can press from the front if needs be. But for me, if you're going to have someone in the box to finish off a chance, it's got to be Rodrigo for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Um, so listen, let's get into the score predictions, people. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. And if you're watching a replay, please put your score predictions in the comments below. So let's go, people. Score predictions: Arsenal versus Leeds. Let's go. Uh DUX here. Style of play don't matter in football. Results do. Sounds like a football manager quote. Gavin Parry is going for a 2-3 leads. Yeah. All right, man. Okay. Okay. Shout out to you, Bjorn. Hope you're well, man. Mike Adams is saying 5-0. All that just for a 5-0. DUX is 5-0. Also, Deshaun saying 3-1 Arsenal. Ian saying 2-2, 1-1, 1-1. Karen's going for a Leeds win 2-1. I mean, do you realize how sensational that would be? We'll be streaming for 3 hours if we do that. Oh, by the way, the match reaction link is in the description of this one as well. So if you want to set the reminder for that when we go live straight after the game, do so. It's in the link in the description. 4-2. Yeah, Jack Simpson 0-0. Alex is saying 3-0 Arsenal. I mean, you know what? There's the thing of being Leedsy, isn't there? Where we always give somebody a boost, like we've just recently done with Chelsea. Now they can't stop winning since they beat us. What if we're the team that go to Arsenal and put a dent in their title race? I mean, anyone buying that? Anyone buying what I'm trying to sell there? No, no. Listen, I've got to be real in terms of this game. When you're looking at them, the way that they're playing, top of the league, and they just play with so much confidence, even against Bournemouth. Someone mentioned the game against Bournemouth. They went until the 98th minute until they got it done. It just seems like something's different in the air. Yeah. I mean, Darren Wang is saying here 1-0, we derail their title challenge. Would love to see Darren. I've got to be honest with this one. I've got a loss predicted, but as always, I hope I'm wrong. In my heart, I've got a 1-1 draw. You know, that is my heart. That's the fan in me saying 1-1 draw at Arsenal. In my head, though, in my footballing head, I've got 3-1 to Arsenal. I'm sorry. I mean, Darren here, they might be complacent. I hope so, but nah, I think Mikel Arteta's got him drilled in, unfortunately, Darren. But you're right, it could happen. You know, it could be that it's only Leeds coming to town. Maybe they take their foot off the gas, but I think they might have learned their lesson from the Bournemouth game. In all fairness, but yeah, I've got 3-1 Arsenal. Obviously, with everything in my being, I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, 1-1 in my heart as a fan, 3-1 as a regular prediction. So please, let me be wrong, please. Brian is saying Leeds customer title once, Leeds can do it again. Yeah. I remember that. Great game. Great game. Jacob, I would take this. Jacob here is saying, even if we win the game, you know we're getting battered for 90 minutes. Jacob, I would take the smacking of all smackings all game long, and then we absolutely S-house it at the end. I would take it today, tomorrow, Saturday, next week, next year. I don't care. I would absolutely take that, Jacob, 100%. But yeah, listen, put your scores in the prediction in the comments and let me know. Now, just before we go, people, I've got to mention this because a lot of you tagged me in it, and I know why. Because of the video I did in January in regards to Enzo Le Fée. You know, he's been recently linked with Leeds United. He's also in the same tweet though. He's linked with teams like Leicester, Fulham, Wolves, and Villa. So you get the general sense of where the kind of club he's been linked to. Now, the problem for me is with the link. It's by Ekrem Kanur, and he seems to be more of a person that he'll throw out 10 links and maybe 3 will be right. You know, it's like that kind of thing where if I throw out 20, then maybe 5 will stick kind of thing. And he does seem to be that kind of like journo transfer kind of guy. I haven't seen anybody else talking about it. It's just him. But all I'll say is you might as well talk it into existence. And for me, it would make complete sense. I mean, I mentioned it on the video before in regards to Enzo Le Fée. He's got everything in his arsenal, everything in the toolbox to be a top player. He could add a few more goals, granted, but he does all the mucky stuff. He will tackle from the front, like successfully too. He builds attacks. He's great at set pieces. It just makes so much sense. But obviously, we'll talk about it more when there's a more concrete link, and I hope that does come to fruition, because at 20 million as well, that's a rumored price. Got to take that. Have to take that for that kind of player. and he's already got a friends. He got a couple of friends here. Jorginho Rutters is one of his mates, and of course Elan Melier. So he's got some friends here that can try and convince him to come over. I would absolutely love Enzo Le Fée to come, but unfortunately, the link for me is a bit too flimsy. I need to see some from some people that I actually like trust before I can get really excited. But I appreciated people tagging me in it, obviously, because I did the Enzo Le Fée video back in January. Jacob, man. KG about to pretend he's not ITK. You know, the McKennie one was a pure accident. I swear. I can't beat the allegations though. It's and then obviously interview Tyler has. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I can't beat the allegations. That's fine. But I had no inside knowledge of McKennie coming. He just happened to be linked the day after I did the video. I promise. I promise. Um, so yeah, he also linked Hatate from Celtic, who's a more of a defensive midfielder. I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch Scottish football, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, Tony here saying Liverpool and Tottenham said to be interested in Le Fée. Now I think I don't know if those kind of clubs will go for him. I think it is going to be more the bracket of what I said in terms of what his tweet said in like Villa, Leicester, Fulham. I think it's going to be that kind of move next. I feel like Enzo Le Fée, and I said it in the video that I did in January, he's going to be one of those where he moves to that kind of club, and then the teams you're talking about, Tony, Liverpool, Tottenham, will then go, oh, he's good. Let's go and pay that club 60, 70 million for him. I think it's going to be that kind of move for him. I think he's going to be really, really, I think he's going to the top. I really do. He's a real good player. Very, very good. Gavin Perry, KJ Romano, tremendous. But listen, people, that has been the Arsenal Leeds preview and Enzo Le Fée talk. Give me your thoughts and feelings in the comments below, your score predictions, everything in between. And I will see you Saturday after the game. Link for that match reaction is in the description if you want to set the reminder. And smash a like on the video, please. Best way to help the channel, free of charge, doesn't take you long. And yeah, support your creators, of course. Peace out, people. Enjoy the rest of your, what are we on, Thursday and Friday, whichever ones. Peace out.